Hey Cancer, this is your general tarot reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of March. Cancer, let's do what we always do. We're going to shuffle the cards and wait on the right ones to come out for you, my love. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month. So, we're leaving behind February, and February for you just closed a chapter for you once and for all of being super busy, super having to run here, there and everywhere. You had appointments to keep, you had places to go, clients to meet. It was just one thing after another. And it was a lot of mental activity, a lot of mind activity, a lot of mental chatter going on as well. And you just said, you know, this is just melting my mind. Maybe even people around you were overloading you with their problems, overloading you with information, overloading you with gossip, maybe even sometimes bitchiness. And there's a real moment where you said, I have to get out of this. I have to kind of remove myself from the noise and the chatter and the nonsense arguments and the endless debates over useless, trivial shit. And the coming and going of kept busy and actually getting nowhere at the end of the day. I need to stop that. I need to separate myself away from those noisy, rattly people who just make me reach for the headache tablets. And what do you need to do? You need to do what the sun, your soul, wants you to do, to express something more spiritual, more mature, more soulful. Being able to look at something from a higher picture, being able to, from a higher perspective, should I say, being able to see the bigger picture and just silence the chatter once and for all of the people who are constantly trying to convince you that they're the right one, they're right, you're wrong, and you're saying, oh my God, enough. Just zoom out a little bit and see how I can make sense of all of this in a more mature way. But also, while I'm in this space, it's a time for me to dissect some of what's been thrown at me recently and to maybe piece it together in a more holistic way. Kind of neutralize any of the toxicity of recent stuff through people's gossiping or endless persistence that they're right, and to kind of make something bigger out of it and learn big lessons from it, big spiritual lessons from it. As the first card hops out, I'll lay it down there and wait for the rest. So what you might find yourself doing this month is going back a little bit, because Mercury is in the 9th house here too, and he's retrograding. Yes, he is retrograding. Brace yourself. And he is wanting you to go back to reopen some old belief you had that gave you comfort. Some of you might be, you might have been raised in a certain faith and you might have just dismissed it and just said, oh, it's all nonsense, it doesn't mean anything to me now. But this month you actually might find yourself picking up a holy book or scriptures or something spiritual that you had once discarded, and you read it again, but from a different point of view. It's not from a case of I must believe this, but a case of I see why this is important. I see the truth in some of the things here. Some of this actually really does matter. And it's the same, if you're not a spiritual person, it's the same with what you've studied. Maybe you have to go back a few steps and kind of look again and say, I remember when I was reading great philosophical books, great teachers, great masters. I need to go back a little bit again now and read maybe some of those books again, because in there I'll feel good about how they will show me again how to see things from a bigger perspective, essentially. It's very important, very, very important that you do this. Now, being the weird month that this is, it is a kind of weird month. Mercury retrograding conjunct Neptune, a few other things going on there between Jupiter and Neptune also. There's a real moment when, after you've initially absorbed some of this spiritual information or philosophical stuff, or listen to a bunch of TED Talks about people who just are wise. After a while you'll say, that's not enough. That's fine, but there's a little bit of element of fantasy in that at the same time. I need to discover something that's not selling me a path, but rather just opening me up. I don't want to follow other people's paths, other people's philosophies, because at some point you might recognize this month that in order to do that, you may have to take on this inclusive, exclusive mindset, where you must only think positive thoughts and ignore the negative ones, where you must only do X, Y, or Z and ignore a bunch of other stuff. And you're saying, that's fine, and I see why that's relevant, but surely there has to be something that shows me a balance, where I'm not including one thing and excluding something else, where I'm not asked to sacrifice X, Y, and Z, where I can just grow where I am right now, without having to follow rules. So this is quite a big moment. It really is a big moment where you get to feel that a specific tried and tested spiritual path may not be giving you all the answers that you need. Or in some cases, you're saying, well, let's try this. Let's prove once and for all whether this works or doesn't work for me. Let me test whether this is bullshit or whether it actually helps me to grow. So it's quite a key period for you, Cancer, where you're not accepting anybody selling you an idea, even in terms of your education, in terms of global politics, in terms of big global philosophies or movements. You might look and say, I see why that's happening, but is that the only way to do it? Is that the only answer? So Cancer, the reason why this is quite important is that this month you may be the only person in all the signs that can see through perhaps some spiritual illusions, illusions where there are great movements of people, illusions within philosophies that people kind of don't question. This is the philosophy, don't question it. Why? Usually if you can't question a philosophy, it's probably not great. Because if something is truth, then it should be able to stand up to any questioning without falling apart. So this is quite a journey. And you're saying, okay, so we're talking about big things here. How does that relate to my daily life? Okay, well, in some cases it might make you see people in an entirely new light. You might see how you just think other people are going down wrong paths in their life. And rather than kind of pointing it out to them, you kind of just say, let them off. Let them do their thing. Just leave them. Let them figure it out themselves. So there's an element of that here too. There's an element also of finding people in your life, between friends, colleagues, work colleagues, partners even, where you might look at them and say, you're exaggerating this whole concept. You're exaggerating. You're over-fantasizing something. You want this business to grow. I think you're over-exaggerating its potential. Can we not get down to real details? Somebody comes to you and they're over-exaggerating their relationship. You know those people that you meet every now and then and you ask, well, how are you doing? I'm having the best life. My relationship is the best relationship. My children are the best, smartest children. And you're thinking, this has to be bullshit. They're buying into their own bullshit. Nobody lives that kind of Pollyanna life. Sure, every now and then people have peaks where they're very happy, great. But to be consistently living this dream of, you're just saying that has to be bullshit. Has to be. And more than likely you'll be right. There are a lot of people out there who are not prepared to deal with some negatives. It's become a new toxic word where you must only focus on the positive. You must only be happy all the time. And this month, it's just not sitting with you right. So be prepared for a bunch of people and situations to be over-dramatizing their abilities, to say, well, of course I'm the best at this, and that person there, they're my friend, you know that they are a professor in this, they don't question them, they're the best of the best. And it's just that feeling of being frustrated this month with everything Cancer, because you're thinking, how can you put so much unquestionable faith into something? I need to find my own truth. I need to find where I am going in my life, and I'm going to try to do this as independently and as truthfully as I can. And you're opening that whole concept up with the new moon on March 6th in Pisces. Maybe some of you are now saying, I need to travel more. I've never traveled to any of those places I've always dreamed of going to. I've never gone there. Why haven't I done that? I need to turn this around. I need to explore more things in my life. And I need to get back in touch with nature too. I need to get grounded. And I need to be able to dream and imagine my own philosophy in a kind of a better, cleaner space kind of energy. Now, of course, what's going to be, as you're saying all of this month, there is a celestial body who's listening very, very closely. As you're saying, I wish I could meet a guru. I wish I could meet the real deal, a real character who can help me grow. And Uranus is up there going, okay, you really want this. Right, in I come. I am going to fix this for you. Uranus is moving this month for you. He's moving into Taurus to make something solid and grounded in your life. And it's going to be in your 11th house of making your wishes and dreams to grow and expand and move up to a higher place come true. Now that sounds beautiful. In he comes with his magic wand into the 11th house, making all my dreams and wishes come true. There can't be anything wrong with that, right? Right? Yeah, when we only focus on the positive and don't see the negative, how can we have balance? Well, it is positive. It actually is super, super positive. But it's going to be tricky over the next 7 or so years as he begins this month. Because if you want to see all these wonderful places, meet all these radically brilliant people, move up in your career to a higher echelon where you're meeting all the right people, then you've got to get out of your comfort zone. And Uranus is intensely unpredictable and shocking. And he could arrive in your life and say, I'm going to unstick you. I'm going to remove you maybe from that comfort zone of constantly being surrounded by your family and not finding new friends. I'm going to take you away from constantly depending on old friends. And I'm going to bring in a bunch of new, somewhat unpredictable, zany, crazy friends. And you'll say, these people are brilliant. I love them. They're forward thinking, future thinking. They can get me to where I need to be. But at the same time, they're quite unreliable. They're coming in, sorry, Cancer, and they will be that zap of lightning to bring you to a place. But when you look around and say, oh my God, thank you for bringing me here, and you look and say, where have they gone? Here I am here, they brought me here, I've arrived at my destination, but where are they? And Uranus will say, well, their job was only to bring you there. You've to do the rest. Didn't you want to go on some great big spiritual journey out to your future and to find all your dreams come true? Are we still on with this? And you'll say, yeah, but I didn't realize that there would be moments of feeling that the people around me might be a bit fake, that they might be a bit phony, or they might desert me just as I need them the most. And that can be very uncomfortable for you, Cancer. So what I want you to do is remember this. This is beginning now, and it's a 7-year period of wonderful people and wonderful experiences coming into your life. People who will illuminate you and change everything in your life forever for the better. But at the same time, everything will feel unpredictable and you won't be able to attach yourself very well to many of these new people. You may not even kind of get along with them. Consider them like travelers, wanderers, and they've just rolled in and brought you on with them for the journey. So remember that, Cancer. Over the next 7 years, if you feel, I am in with a bunch of plastic people or unreliable people, remember what's happening. Write this down somewhere so you don't feel that the world is going mad. Instead, the world is becoming unmad for you. But in order for that to happen, it has to turn itself somewhat upside down to make your dreams come true. I'll just give you an example. You're sitting at home and you have all these wonderful books and all about meditation or philosophy, and you're saying, I would love to travel to some far off country where the sun is always shining, where the food is always great, where it's just, I'm filling myself up with wonderful new experiences and meeting new people, speaking new languages and living this spiritual life or this great life of educating myself. And yeah, Uranus will come in and he will remove you from your comfort zone in order to make that happen. So like at the end of the 7 years, you might find yourself living in some far off island, you know, eating strange food with strange people, nice people, and maybe communicating with them in a different language. And you look back and you say, I would have never dreamed that this would have actually happened for me. And it was a wild, crazy, weird journey, but it did give me my dream come true. So it's a big month, and that's why I'm really super focusing on this idea of changing your perception, changing spiritual perceptions, changing educational perceptions, because you're about to be brought into the future with wonderful, weird, strange, new groups of people who share their wonderful, absolutely enlightened version of this cosmic life with you that may even blow your mind. And you're saying, yeah, that sounds great, but I only came here to ask you if this person would ask me out on a date or if I'd get that job interview. Well, okay, there are other things. Let's focus on them. Uranus might actually shock you this month and bring you a reward of giving you some prize, some trophy, some medal, some certification, some appreciation by people that you look up to. So maybe the boss or the people higher up might give you a chance this month to be part of their group or to go and have dinner with them. It's almost like being introduced to the next level in your career, perhaps, you know. So, or next level to do with a social scene. You could find yourself getting in with a whole new group of friends that bring you to new and exciting places this month, where for the singles you may meet a new and exciting, magnetic, shocking person who brings you kind of a radical love. And you're saying, you're telling me all this, but I'm Cancer. We're not into this shit most of the time. We like it, but we prefer to do our own thing. We prefer things not to be so radical, and if they are radical, we prefer to have a kind of touchstone. Let's do a radical thing, but can I bring my family and some of the home cooking from the freezer and the fridge with me? Maybe you can, maybe you can. You're not being asked to radically change immediately, you know, bit by bit, and do as much as you can to make it as comfortable as possible, because it will be big. Now, speaking of which, you might find yourself inviting new, interesting people back home this month to have, you know, drinks with or dinners with, meals with, so that you can talk about some great new things that you want to do in your future. or people with just amazing, incredible minds that might teach you something or open a doorway into somewhere new for you, Cancer. So there's magic here, real magic here for you. Now, March 20th, Sun in Aries. And then very shortly after the Sun goes into Aries, there's a full moon in Libra. So this is a real moment where you can begin to assert yourself in your workplace, work on your own, push ahead with some project on your own, get some success by maybe having some extra energy to break through some issue in your career, to do something independently, and to be a leader in your career. It's almost like breaking away from the pack and doing something with energy and power in your career that might be a bit of a challenge, but kind of a reward for you, Cancer. And with the full moon then in Libra, you're able to do this with a sense of kind of not getting the work-life, home-life thing all knocked out of balance. So you can do your thing, get out there, be a leader, show up, do your responsibilities, do your duties, be on time, be whatever you have to be, while at the same time not neglecting your private space, not neglecting, kind of bringing that balance in, bringing some balance back to some home issues too. Finally, making peace with some family members even, bringing a good vibe back into the home, bringing that vibe of love back into the home. So it's all really, really nice. Venus at the end of the month moves into Pisces again in the 9th house, putting your coins away maybe to take the first step, to go and studying, learning something new, to take that vacation and do a little recce, go on a little trip to see, is this something I could do? Could I live here? Could I change my world? And it's all big questions this month. But also for some of you, you might find that if you're working with foreign people from different cultures to you, people on the internet, that you could get money back through that. Say if you have a website where you sell something, money could come through from people of all nationalities and all belief systems. So it could be very, very positive. So Cancer, we're going to get moving on choosing some cards. We've only 6 cards and we need a few more. Yeah. But I also see Chiron, has gone into Aries, into your 10th house. There could be some real healing stuff happening for you in your career. You have the North Node in your 1st house, standing out and doing things creatively that make you excel in your career. This is quite a positive time. Following your path, Cancer, within your career and taking big, giant leaps and bold steps to making more of your career, making more of it, being braver, taking big steps to get your face out there, big steps to become maybe even a public figure that people recognize. Just you, being the face of a brand, getting your face known. So this could be what you're doing. And certainly if you're not doing something independently, you want to get your face known by the upper people. If there's a group or a society that you say, I can go higher in my career if I can get in with that team of people, hang out with them, socialize with them. This is a moment where you're really actively pushing your whole vibe out there to make them see you, and they will. And they will. So you might get invited into a group of people this month, and this group have all the right connections to push your career ahead, perhaps. So Cancer, let's get these cards. These are quite long readings this month, long introductions, and I think it's worth it, Cancer, because there's a lot of energy that needs to be explained here. I'm halfway thinking, of trimming down my videos to just doing the cards. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you still get something from me, explaining the energies to you at the beginning of the videos. If that's something that still has relevance to you, if it does, let me know in the comments. Or maybe it's just time to focus more just on a shorter reading and do the cards. Let me know, Cancer. Because I'm asking you because you're in that philosophical frame of mind where you're taking value now of, what has, you're able to understand what has value and meaning spiritually. So that's why I'm asking your opinion. Because you're in that zone this month, Cancer. Anyway, let's go over to your beautiful spiritual cards this month. So my gorgeous, you're running ahead and charging ahead with some of these fabulous new ideas that Uranus particularly might be bringing, or ideas that you go back and rediscover through Mercury retrograde this month. And you want to run with them. You want to change up, as I said at the start, you want to change up your opinion of your life, your philosophy in this world, your spiritual understanding. And you've got all of these ideas that you know that they're going to turn your life around. And it's what you want to do. You're charging ahead with it. It's almost like, stop giving me the small details. I now am running into a future that is going to help me change my perspective and my spirituality and my understanding of everything in this world forever. I'm on it. I actively want it to happen. I'll also say with this coupling too, that there may be a real clear separation from February to March this month with some arguments where there have been real debates, real moments where you said, I am not buying into this anymore. I am not tolerating this endless, useless debate over something anymore. I'm not going to have people in my life who are constantly nitpicking at me, fighting over the most trivial nonsense crap in my life anymore. I'm running towards a much bigger picture because I know it's part of my destiny. I know part of my destiny also is to express myself. The first house, North Node. I need to show myself off and I need to be able to know what I'm talking about. And I know that will bring a turn in my career. When I can actually stand by what I believe, and when I can stand up and personally say, I believe in this, and I stand for this, and I stand by this, then that changes everything. Yeah, you won't feel so inclined to battle with people who have different opinions to you. You'll say, let them off, that's small-minded. I've bigger things to look at now. Yeah. And you won't be baited by people, maybe on social media. You might say something wonderful and profound, and people might come in onto your Facebook page and say, well, according to what I believe, that's bullshit. And you say, bye. Don't care. Don't care. I really don't care what you believe, because right now, all that really matters to me and all that should really matter is what I believe, what I stand for. And you're going to have great courage and confidence to organize this. There's a moment here, it seems, Cancer, where you need a bit of courage to get over something, maybe some hurt that's recently happened to you. Maybe there's been a bit of a falling out with a family member or somebody that you've really loved or maybe even really respected, somebody that you would have somewhat connected to in some way, some special or significant way, and they upset you, and you need courage to get over this, and you will. You're healing your heart this month after something that's been happening to you. For some of you, maybe there's a Leo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant that you probably need to put some past shit aside and maybe start again on a better level, on a better note. And I think this is the month to do it. This is a month where there's a lot of forgiveness, where there's a lot of, letting things go, surrendering things, but also being grateful for the experience you had, even though it mightn't have turned out right. And for some of you, you might be saying that with a Leo, or somebody with a strong Leo-style character. You might be saying, look, let's not fight over something, let's get over something, and let's move on from something here. Let's heal something. And there's also the energy of not allow it, being brave and courageous to not allow anybody trigger you anymore. You know, with Uranus going into the 11th house, he's going to throw you, as I earlier said, a bunch of people into your life who may look like your new best friend forever, your new BFF. And you may find that even though they're wonderful, they're not reliable, not because they're shady, but because they're not into forming bonds. They're quite independent. And this is going to be a new period, Cancer, where you learn that it's not always necessary to bond deeply with people in your life. Because when you try to do that, you'll end up getting hurt when the other person says, I love you, I respect you, but I don't want to get so close. I want to be able to come and go and move in and out, and it's not personal. So you're going to need courage a little bit this month to deal with some of these new things that are coming in, that it's not personal. And that's why you need to be brave. If your boss comes in, or if new friends come in, new things happen, and they hurt you, sit back, have the higher picture and say, now, did they really hurt me? Or was I expecting too much from people who laid it out very clear from the start that they're only working with me for this contract, or they're only going to be here for a certain amount of time, or they're a bit in, out, come, go people? It's something I'm going to have to master. And I can give all that bonding and connecting to the real people in my life that matter, my family, children, very, very close friends perhaps. Everybody else, they don't get my heart as quickly, and therefore I won't be let down by them as easily. It's an element of detachment happening here, Cancer. That's part of the lesson, learning how to comfortably detach without being cold. I mean, you can do that. You can. I mean, I'm not saying for a moment that you're overly clingy with everybody, but it's not necessary to bond with everybody. You can like them, get on with them, and let them move on, and just value the time that you had together. So you need strength to do that. But here I see something too. You're getting over something. You're definitely getting over something. Something that was a hard push, a hard slog, where you had to persistently push or defend your beliefs about something to other people. And you're not prepared to do it anymore. You're over the worst of that. You're over the worst of constantly having to assert yourself in very difficult and challenging ways. You're saying, I'm going with some better flow here. I'm going to drop the deadwood and just focus on what I need for my future. I'm going to focus on my career, standing out. I'm making my path here. I'm playing the game in some way that others are playing. I look at these people who are all mingling and socializing with them, and in a million years, none of them would be my friends. And you're right. They're not there to make friends. They're there to socialize. They go home and they have their families and friends. From the outside looking in, it looks like they're all a bunch of plastic people. But the game is that they all know it. They know they're not trying to love each other. So you're recognizing that, it seems, this month, and you're playing that game of elevating yourself without trying so hard to defend the belief of something, without saying, I'm not going to lose myself among all of these people. You're not. There's no need to lose yourself among them. There's no need to become like them. I'm going down this road. It's like there's no need to fear that you'll become like something else or someone else. You're not going to, because you don't have to. You just do your own thing. And then it makes more sense. Then you're able to take the first steps out to making something of your world. It's almost like a great big shift here, Cancer, where you recognize that you were pushing in all the wrong directions. Now that you get it, you're saying, I see from the bigger, higher perspective up in my tower that there's a bigger world than the one I've been holding on to out there. Now I'm confident and I'm passionate to get out there, and I know the universe is supporting me, and I want to multiply this. I want it to grow. But in order to do that, I've got to drop certain attitudes. I've got to stop limiting my beliefs. I've got to play some game and see it as a game, because everybody else sees it as a game. They're not out there to hurt me. They're only out there to do what actually I want to do, which is to succeed and to be as pleasant and as nice and as helpful along the way as possible, but not necessarily to be my friend. I get it, I get it, I get it. So there is a real turnaround moment this month for you. Not all people are meant to be friends. Sometimes they're just people to help us on our journey. And again, I'm going to say it, it doesn't make them superficial or insincere. They're being straight up honest. Let's meet up for coffee to talk business. Let's meet up for coffee to meet up with a this who knows a this who can help you with this. That's all they are. That's all you are to them, and that's all they are to you. And it's like, why didn't I see that before? It makes everything so much easier. I'm not hurting myself or anybody else by doing this. In fact, it's an act of respect to be able to do this in the right way. Yeah. And here's, again, a kind of Venus in Aries style card where there's a great now love for your career, making that more solid, pushing yourself further, maybe even finding something that you can pin down this month. Look what I've done, look what I've achieved. Everybody come and look at this. And they come and they celebrate it with you. So you're doing good. You seem to have a good start on something, Cancer, that's bringing in some sort of success. Now, this is a marriage card. This is a card of having a strong, stable relationship, having a strong, stable family life, having a strong, stable home, building the foundations on something that you're very proud of. So that could be something that's happening for you. And because you're proud of actually starting something, feeling stable and sure of something, you can move with passion, fire meeting earth, slow, steady passion and determination to make something happen for you. Be it in relationships, you're slowly and steadily trying out new friendships, trying out new people coming into your life, entertaining new people at your house that have radical or unusual ideas. It's like this first slow, steady steps to opening up your future. But we kind of say slow and steady, and sometimes people think of that as a negative. No, you've got to be quick in this world. You've got to strike while the iron's hot. Sometimes you do. But every foundation needs to be built on something strong, solid, steady, that expands in a very natural, organic, and solid way. And that's what this card suggests. It's like slow-moving fire, like lava burning with passion, destroying everything in its path also, but making great headway in a slow, confident, detail-orientated way. It's also a card of growing a small idea, taking a small idea and bringing it to a real point where you can make big money this month, Cancer. So it's a huge, it seems to be just a huge turn for you. Now, towards the end of the month, there is love, there is passion. Those of you in a relationship, there may be some good news. With the beautiful full moon happening in Libra, there could be some really nice conversations, bringing some nice things back into balance, making you feel the love again, making you feel content in yourself again, making you feel, I've got my soul love with me again, I've got my soul tribe around me again, I've got my family around me again, I feel happy. And some good news might come to you, maybe twice, maybe doubly good news for you towards the end of the month about something that just makes you very content and satisfied. Some kind words coming. And again, it's from somebody that you love and care for. It could be a new love, could be a water sign. That's obviously Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Yeah, but somebody, now this is interesting. You've got this coupling as your last card. You're on a mission to see through the deception because the sun is shining on all the lies. And your mission now is to do that. Your mission is to see through the lies and to see through any deceptions that have stopped you from growing in order to reach your success, in order to reach your future. There is just a massive change this month for you, Cancer, where you're seeing through so much bullshit, your own bullshit too. I mean, you have to be honest, we all carry bullshit. Still, no matter how spiritually evolved we think we are, we all carry some level of bullshit. But you're seeing past that. And it's almost like you're seeing through some illusion, maybe seeing through some lies that might be coming through work, lies that might be coming through some family situation, or misrepresentation of something. And you say, get past this, swim past this, Cancer, swim past this, and get to where the sun is shining. And the sun is shining on you, standing up, standing tall, building your reputation, building your good name, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and following your destiny, which is to be there and arrive at your beautiful future of success that Uranus is taking you to. So it's really beautiful. It's all the small pieces of your life are going to be affected by this big radical mind shift and life shift and friend shift and future shift. So, I mean, expect the unexpected. Either way, it's going to be brilliant. I'm going to leave it at that, Cancer. You know what to do by now. If you want to dig deep into the nitty-gritty, into the details of relationships, for those of you in a relationship, for the singles also, to see what the energy is like for new love, for those of you wanting to know more about money and career, and for those of you wanting to dig deeper about some family issues or friend issues, you know to come to the VIMEO reading, the deep read, all linked down there below. Come along, Cancer, and we'll open it up further. This is just the general landscape. Let's get into the details with the deep read. As I said, linked down there below. And Cancer, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to leave you happier because I'm confident that you've the strength to allow this big turn happen in your life and to totally grow here and allow more of that to happen. And I wish you luck with this brilliant new change of perspective and perception. Let those doors open. Let it happen. My beauty. As always, I'm going to leave you with all my love and a great big kiss. Mwah. And until next month, my gorgeous. Bye. Enjoy the adventure.